All right, guys. So we're looking at more and expanding brackets. So we're picking up from where we left off last week. Last week, we saw questions such as this one, where we had a positive number being multiplied by positive values inside of it. We said what we're doing is we're multiplying the value that's outside the bracket by what is inside of the bracket. All right? That's going to give us 3x and 3x, right? Also saw values for questions like this. Right, same thing is happening here. 4 is being multiplied by 2a, and we could just copy the sign back, drop that 4 there and put the b inside. This is much easier for you guys to grasp the concept when I do like this. So what's going to be different what we're looking at this week? Let's get a different color thing. Would be a question where we had something like a negative value here. A negative value being multiplied by 2 positive values. You know, what do we do with the sign here? This tends to, when you're just starting, it confuses you a bit. After a while, you know, it's kind of a reflex action in terms of what you're doing. So what I would do is I would be multiplying minus 5 by everything here, right? So minus 5 is being multiplied by this e, and again, minus 5 is being multiplied by positive 2b. It's important for me to keep this sign, right? This sign here. Let me get my other pen. It's important for me to keep this sign here, and I'll show you why. I'm going to write another example on the side of this. Right, so picking up from where we left off a short while ago, right? So looking at different examples of expanding brackets today. In red, we had some of the questions you guys would have done for homework. There, or with those questions, the term that was outside of the bracket was always positive, right? And when you did that, I was just showing you to keep the sign here, put the 3 in front of there, and it's kind of straightforward in terms of multiplying. Students tend to get confused if the number outside the bracket here is negative, right? It's not a positive number, right? Because now you have the interaction of this sign with this one, right? So what are you doing? So all you have to remember is that I said the brackets, when we expand in them, is multiplication. We are taking whatever is outside of the bracket, inclusive of its sign, and multiplying it by each of the terms inside of the bracket. And when I say each of the terms inside of the bracket, that means the term inclusive of its sign. So a here we know is a positive a, right? This term here is positive 2b. So I am multiplying negative 5 by positive 2b. Let's look at another example where we have negative numbers inside of the bracket as well, right? Again, as I mentioned before, we are taking whatever the term is outside of the bracket. I like to use these circles and arrows. It helps me to see exactly what it is I'm going to be multiplying, right? So I actually write this when I'm working them out. This is being multiplied by this entire thing here, as well as this entire thing, and I mean the entire thing, sign inclusive. So when I am writing this in terms of my solution, let's get another pen. This is what my solution would look like. I would have negative 3 multiplied by negative 4x, right? And then another negative 3. I don't need to necessarily need to put this in bracket, right? Multiplied by the negative 2y, right? And to avoid any confusion, because I don't want you multiplying everything together. Right? So they just write minus 3 outside. So the minus 3 is being multiplied by the negative 4. The negative 3 is being multiplied by the negative 4. And negative 3 is being multiplied by the negative 2y as well. Once you write it like this, then the next step is just to multiply each of them separately. All right. So negative by negative, remember we do sign, number, and then that. Right? So the sign is going to be positive. The sign is going to be positive. Hi Diana, welcome to today's session. We started a short while ago. So you should be we'll be able to catch up. Right. So negative by negative is our positive. That's what we said. 3 we multiply by 4 is going to give us 12. And we have an x here, right? We write the letter. We know when we multiply variables, we're just joining them together. We treat with this part here first, separate, and working this out. Then you come across to on this side, right? When you come across to this side now, what you're gonna do is multiply negative by negative is going to give me a positive. 3 by 2 is going to give me 6, right? And we get 6y. This is my answer. Positive 12x plus 6y. Let's look at this side, right? We're going to have negative 5 multiplied by a. That's going to give me negative 5a. Remember, you're doing them in parts, right? This is not one long line that you're working out. You need to multiply by the first term and then by the second term, right? After that, we're doing negative 5 by positive 2b. And negative by positive is going to give me a negative. And 5 2s are 10b. And this is going to be my answer. Everybody understand that? If you do, drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're okay with that. Kima says she's fine. Is everybody else all right? Everybody okay with it so far? No problem. Right. So let's do a little quick recap. Everybody's not fine with it. Right. So last week when we was expanding brackets, sorry, 1 second. Right. So last week when we was expanding brackets, right, we had questions where the number outside, you guys said you did this for homework and it was all right. Mark, I said you got 11 out of 11. Right, so you all understood this, right? Multiplying 4 by x and then doing 4 by 2y, right? So 4 is being multiplied by everything in the bracket says a positive number, so there's no need for me to really consider the sign, right? We could take this positive as being the positive in front of the 4, but we know for a fact that this 2y here is a positive 2y. So signs were no issue last week. What I wanted you to grasp from the homework was that you are multiplying what is outside, whatever is outside, by whatever is inside, inclusive of the sign. So if I have a positive 4 here, I'm multiplying x positive x by 4, positive 2y by 4. In today's examples, what we are doing is we are introducing we're introducing this negative sign in front of that number outside. So if I am working this out, I am multiplying everything inside of the bracket by this number that is outside the bracket. So minus 5 is being multiplied by 2m, and minus 5 is being multiplied by negative 4m. That's the other term inside of the bracket. Multiply the first part, and you will get an answer. Negative 5 by 2m is going to give me negative 10m, right? And negative by negative here is going to give me a positive. 5 by 4 is going to give me 20, right? This doesn't carry any letters, so I'm just getting the letter n from inside of it. And this here is the solution to expanding this bracket. Is that a bit clearer now?
Yes, sir.
Everybody, is this clearer for you now? Drop a 1 if you understand. I know you understand? Kai, Tahira, you guys with me? Diana is good, right? Kai is good. Amelia is good. Naima, are you following along?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you guys are doing the questions that I'm putting up here for me now. Right? So you have the example to the top, 2 examples to the top, plus I did the first one for you. So you're doing 2, 3, and 4 for me. Let's try that, and then we'll see how you guys go. All right, guys. So let's take a look at these. Everybody still working?
Yes, sir.
Everybody finished? So starting with number 2.
Yes, sir.
So we have negative 3 by 4x, right? A negative by positive is going to give me a negative. 3 fours are 12x, right? Negative 3 multiplied by negative 2y is going to give me negative by negative is a positive. 3 by 2 is going to give me 6y. Can I add or do anything further with these? I have x and a y. Drop a y in the chat or n. Can I add those together? Yes or no? You have one answer so far. Can we add those together? We have an x and a y. Could we simplify this further, or is that the final answer? Drop a y. Sorry, drop a n if we can't simplify further. Put up the answer for the third. No, we can't go any further. That's correct. Right? Because they're different terms. You have an x and a y too. So next I want to talk about number 3. We have a negative by negative here. That's going to give me a positive. 4 2s are going to give me 8q. Negative by positive here is going to give me negative. 4 3s 12p. Last one here. Negative by negative is a positive. 7 by 3 is 21t. Right? Negative by negative is a positive. 7 by 4 is 28s. All right, everybody okay with that? Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at some more questions. Just to make sure that everybody is following along. We're going to do a little exercise. Right, so we want to look at some of the things we covered in multiplication so far. So this is a mix exercise, right? So it's going to contain a bit of everything that we looked at so far. Right, so we starting simple with some simple multiplication, and then we build up into our expanding brackets, stuff like that. As an A, right, people? Right, so 10 questions, right? I haven't included any of the brackets that we just looked at. Everything here we would have looked at from our previous session. We started our multiplication. We have our expanding brackets with all positive terms, right? We have regular multiplication involving different variables, and we also have multiplication involving similar variables. And the last last two questions involves both combined together, right? So pay attention to this part, right? Remember, this is B by B by B. So is this one, T by T, right? Remember what you do when you're multiplying the same variable by itself. You usually use a power, right? So that's the hint. So you're doing these 10 questions to me now. Let me give you guys 10 minutes or so, a minute per question. It's now 11:45. So at 11:55, you'll correct. Right? Everybody understand what they're doing? Just drop a Y in the chat board if you do. Everybody drop a Y in the chat board so you understand. Okay, excellent. So you're working on this question set for me, and then we'll see if we can move on. Yeah. All right, so we're looking at the second question set here, solutions to them. The first one, we have 3 by P by Q. Right, remember when we multiply and we combining together the letters, there are no numbers to multiply here, right? The 3 would remain. Number 2, you have -2 into x plus y. Right, and I said take -2 and multiply it by everything that is inside of that bracket. Right, so this line is very important. So it helps you to avoid mistakes with the signs. Our answer is going to be -2x, -2y. Right, let's look at number 3. We have m by m by m by m, all the same variable. So we write this as m to the power of 4. Right, very important to remember. It's important when you can see the multiplication through these different types of examples or questions. Right, because sometimes students would get confused where they see the m by m by m by m. Right, here again we have 2a, b, c. Remember we combining together, right? Let signs first is going to be negative because a negative by positive. 2, there's nothing for the 2 to multiply by, and we say we just combining the letters together when we multiply. Number 5, 3x multiplied by 5y, right? They're both positive, so the answer is going to be positive. 3 by 5 is going to give me 15, and we combining the letters together. Number 6, -2a multiplied by -3b. A negative by negative is going to give me a positive. 2 3s is 6, and then we have ab. So you see, here we had numbers that we could multiply by each other. So it would be signs first, then the numbers, then the letters, multiplying everybody, right? And you know your rules for multiplying signs, right? Multiplying numbers, you already know that. And for the letters or variables, we're just combining them together. Number 7, 4m multiplied by, sorry, m to the power 4 multiplied by m to the power 5. They're both m's. So we add the powers. 9, right? 4 plus 5 is going to give us 9. Right? Just write that. See it in very clearly. Sorry. Right, same thing is happening here. Right, even though they combine things together and the question itself might look a bit intimidating. Right, you're adding powers here. Right, we're going to have 2 plus 4, and y here is going to be 3 plus 5. Put this in a little bracket on top of here, so let's see what's going on. Right, this is my working. This is the answer. Right, x to the power 6, y to the power of 8, and lastly, right, 4 3s are going to give me 12a. Okay, I'm doing my working, no shortcuts. Right, working here 4 by 3a, and then positive 4, right? Because the 4 is positive outside the bracket, by negative 4b. Right, 4 3s are 12a, and 4 positive 4 by negative 4 is negative 16b. Yeah. All right, so how many people got all 9 correct? All 9 correct? 8, 7, 6. Okay, not bad. Right, so we're going to try another question set again. Make sure that we have this, and then we would look at I threw it in here actually. Try that one for me. Try this one for me. One. This one. Right, so this is the set this is the set number 3. Right, set number 3. Right, so we're working on these and then we correct, and then we're going to talk about a bit more difficult expanding bracket question, and if time permits, I'll introduce substitution as well. All right.
Yes, sir.
So here are the solutions to our set of questions, set number 3. Right. For the first one, the answer you should have received there would have been m to the power 3n to the power 4. Right. If you look at this here, remember I said when you're multiplying like terms together, right, you're going to count the number of them and you express it in terms of the power. So this is going to give us the m cubed here. And then for n, right, there's 4 of them. And when you multiply these two together, right, remember we said with multiplication, you just join and you're smashing those letters together. That's going to give us the m cubed n to the power of 4. Right? It's not very difficult. For number 2, correct answer there should be positive 6a squared. Remember I said to do the signs first, so negative by negative is giving me a positive. Then the numbers, 3 by 2 is giving me 6. And then here we have the same letters, so a by a is giving me a squared. Right, so pay attention to that. I cannot bring some of them all together in one question here for you. Right, number 3, We have 7a multiplied by 5d, right? Again, we do the numbers first. 7 5s are 35. There was no need for me to consider signs here because the signs are the same. They're both positive numbers. So 7 5s are 35, and then a by d, just joining those letters together. Number 4 was expanding some brackets. Remember, we're taking what is outside of the bracket and multiplying by what's inside of the bracket. So here I have the negative 2 being multiplied by x and negative 2 being multiplied by negative 2y. Right? Important for you to write that so that you get the right sign here, positive 4y. Number 5, we're looking at 2x to the power of 4 multiplied by x squared. Again, we do the numbers. Here's our 1, right? So we kind of just replace we'll just continue with the 2, right? Because there's no number in front of the second term, right? The x's, though, they're both the same variable, so we can add these powers, right? So what we're getting ready is 2x, and we have the 4 being added to the 2 here to give us 2x to the power of 6. Number 6, we're looking at m by n by p, right? So again, we join the letters together when we're multiplying variables and they're different. So m by n by p, nothing in common there. So there's no need for us to involve any powers or indices, right? We simply just write that as m and p. 7, we have negative 2x multiplied by positive 4y. Here, different variables. We have an x and a y, so we know that's combining. We have different signs as well, so we know the answer should be negative. And then we just work in the numbers 2 by 4. Again, do the sign, number, letter. So sign is negative. Number 2 by 4 is giving me 8. And then the letters x by y is giving me xy. Number 8, we have 4 into 2x minus 3y. That's actually how we read it. We say 4 into 2x minus 3y. We're multiplying the 4 here by everything inside of the bracket, right? So 4 is being multiplied by 2x as well as the negative 3y. So important now when we're doing this, we put this negative 3y in our bracket. And the 4, although there's no sign in front of it, it's understood to be positive. So this is why I have a positive 4 here. These lines, these extra lines that I write are very crucial. That's your working. So, you know, like for CXC, if you make a mistake and you multiply wrong here, at least you could get a mark for that line. And this is a sort of check back to make sure that you are actually multiplying the correct number and using the correct sign. So important to include these lines, this line here especially, right? Very important, this line, where you're taking the number or the value outside the bracket and multiplying it by those inside of the bracket. Right, number 10, right, again, I kind of bring everything into a little callaloo here. We have 3 multiplied by m multiplied by n multiplied by n, right? So 3 by m is going to give me 3m, but the n by n is going to give me n squared, and then we join in all of this together, right? Because we multiply, right? And it's somewhat different. And here, same thing, big melting pot. 4 by 2 is giving me the 8. And then M and P, we actually saw this before, M and P here. So I just tried to incorporate it together with some numbers to see what we would do. All right. Did everybody get all 10 correct? Right, drop your answer in the chat.